Now we'll complete the barbell fault. Let's select our barbell control again and also go into our perspective and graph view. Remember, we're focusing on the translate Y and as well as the rotate Z, so we'll go ahead and home on in on those F curves and continue where we left off. So where we left off, we have the barbell bouncing twice. One, and there's the second impact. Now we need to have it bounce up. But before that, let's adjust our translate Y key so we can figure out where we want it to stop bouncing, because it's going to need to stop. Remember, we've got to keep in mind gravity. Gravity's constantly pulling it down, so the bounces are going to gradually start to decrease. So let's take this key on frame 356, okay, and let's start moving it down some to where we want the bouncing to stop, and let's have it stop at about here, at about 364. So once we figure that out, we'll continue with our next bounce. So we have it bouncing where it tilts to the character's right. Now it needs to bounce up. So let's work on that. Let's have it bounce up on at about 356. So on 356, let's translate it up just a little bit, and then this time we'll rotate it so that it's faced more to the character's left. But remember, not as much because of gravity pulling it down, so about here. And I think we can translate it down just a little bit more, definitely, because it is it needs to be impacting the floor there. So about there is fine. So here's what we get. Bam, bam, bam. And now it needs to tilt to the opposite direction. So let's work on that. And we'll go to frame 361, and we'll have it rotate slightly to the opposite direction now, like that, and also translate it down to make sure that it is impacting the floor, like that. Great. Okay, so once we've got these bounces in, we'll have the bounce stop on frame 364. So on 364, we'll zero out our rotate Z, and there we go. So there's the rotate Z of our bounce as well as the translate Y. Let's see how our bounce looks. Let's see if it's finished yet. We'll go ahead and hide our NURBS curves. Make sure to find a nice view to play blast from. Here seems fine. Maybe bring up the camera to keep the character in shot and render one off. Here it is. So what is wrong with the barbell? We've got the translate Y and the rotate Z pretty much down, but what does it need now? Well, it needs to roll. It needs to roll towards us based off of the direction that it's falling. That's one thing that it's missing. It needs to translate more towards us as well, so we need to work on that. We'll go ahead and close out our play blast, bring back our NURBS curves, and work on making it roll to keep the movement natural, because it can't be stationary as it is now. So we'll go back to our perspective and graph view, and first we'll focus on the translate Z, so making it come more towards us. So for that, let's go to our last frame. We'll have it roll all the way to our last frame, and let's translate it forward to about here. So let's see how it looks now when we hit play. Let's also focus in on our perspective and just do a quick playback. So the roll's looking alright, but there's some delay in it. What we also want to do is do a play blast. So let's do that. Here's the render. So we can see that there's a slight delay in the translate Z that's preventing the movement from looking natural. So let's work on that. We'll close out our F check, bring back our control curves. Again, select our barbell control and go back to our perspective and graph view. And let's focus in on this translate Z curve right now. Okay, here's where the delay is coming from, right here on frame 356. Notice how, because we have flat tangency here, there's a bit delay, and then it begins to roll forward again. So we don't want this key there. We'll just delete it because it's just hurting our animation. But now watch the improvement that does just by doing that simple fix of deleting that key. We'll again hide our NURBS curves and render another play blast. Here it is. And now notice how much better that roll is starting to look by just doing that simple fix of getting rid of that excess key that was actually hurting our animation. But if we notice, there's still a slight delay. So to fix that, let's close this out. All we need to do is go back to our control curve, go back to the perspective and graph view, and adjust the tangency on frame 342 so we get a smoother arc like that. Now watch what we're able to get from a render. Here it is. Great, so the movement's much better now. Awesome. So now we can work on having it roll in the X. So let's do that because it shouldn't stay stationary as it is now. So we'll close that out and bring back our control curves, and we want to have it rotate again in the X. Okay, so let me go ahead and undo that. Just wanted to show you that move. So we'll go to our perspective and graph view, and this time go to the rotate X and focus on it and expand our curve some. There we go. So first off, we need to have a key where the weight lands on frame 342. So let's go there and add a key on the rotate X so we can isolate the roll, the movement of the roll. So it's going to start after 342, and let's have it roll all the way to the end. So 380, our end frame. As far as how much to make it roll, we need to again keep in mind the weight of it and the gravity as well as inertia, the resistance to motion. So for that, let's go ahead and start rotating the weight. Once you've selected the rotate Y in the channel box, or the rotate X in the channel box, excuse me, you can just start rotating this constraint ring, and you'll still only move in the X here. So let's go ahead and just move it to, let's try about here at about value of 30. Let's see how that looks. Again, we'll make sure to do a play blast. We don't want to rely on our workspace at all times, so find a nice view. Think about right here would be fine, and start one off. Here it is. All right, great. Look how much more improved the fall of the barbell is just by adding that simple fix with the rotate X. So it's just about done. What we need to do now is see if we can adjust any of our tangency to get the best results out of our animation. So we'll close out our play blast. Again, bring back our control curves, and with the barbell control selected, let's go into our perspective graph view. And all we'll really need to change is the translate Y. Remember how we broke the tangency before to show some impact? Well, we need to do that with the other keys where there's impact of the barbell occurring. So we've got this first section taken care of. Let's work on the others. Like for example, on frame 352, we'll go ahead and break the tangency here and adjust it. Okay, and we'll scrub past. And we could also adjust this tangency on the right half just slightly. We need to adjust this key on frame 358. So again, we'll break the tangency, bring this side up so we get a better arc here, and this side up slightly as well. Bam bam, we got our bounce. And again, we'll adjust the tangency on frame 361, break it, adjust their sides, and where it lands we definitely need to adjust the tangency there, even there. So we'll go ahead and select the key, frame 364, break the tangency, and fix it. Maybe we could bring this side down a little bit more. Awesome. And let's see if we can see the results in a play blast. So we'll find a nice view where the weight's coming towards us. About right here. Here it is. Awesome. Now we're getting a great sense of weight and gravity in the barbell fall. It's showing some nice impact upon hitting the floor as well as a good roll afterwards. With this done, this lesson is now finished. In the next lesson, we'll move back to the upper body and work more on finalizing our last section.